Welcome to the Campus Security Authority training. Please feel free to pause this module at any time to review the slide content. Let's begin by discussing our goal and objective for this training. In order for the university to fulfill its responsibilities and maximize safety on campus, individuals throughout all parts of the campus, not just public safety, must work together to report knowledge of crimes on campus. The goal of this training is to increase your understanding of the Clery Act and your role and responsibilities as a campus security authority in reporting Clery Act crimes. Hereafter, a campus security authority may be referred to as a CSA. The objective of this training is for you, in your role as a CSA, to be able to identify and report in good faith allegations of Clery Act crimes to campus public safety. Let's discuss the overview of this training. We will answer the following questions as we progress through the training. What is the Clery Act? Who is the Campus Security Authority? What are your responsibilities as a CSA, including what does not fall under your realm of responsibility? Which crimes should you report? And how do you report Clery Act crimes? What is the Clery Act? This is an act formally called the Jenny Clery Disclosure of Campus Security Policy and Crime Statistics Act. It is commonly referred to as the Clery Act. The Clery Act is a federal law that requires colleges and universities across the United States to disclose information about crime on and around their campuses, reported to local police agencies and campus security authorities. The law is tied to federal student aid programs and is enforced by the Department of Education. What does this mean for a university? The university is required to issue an annual security report that discloses campus crime statistics by October 1 each year, maintain a daily crime log to advise of current crimes, issue timely safety warnings, emergency notifications to advise the campus community of any significant emergency or dangerous situation involving a serious, continuous, and immediate threat to their health and safety, make campus security policies available, and report Clery reportable crimes to the Department of Education. As a CSA, you play a critical role in the university's fulfilling these responsibilities and maximizing safety on campus. Next, we'll address who is considered a CSA. You were identified as a CSA, which means you fall into one or more of the following categories: campus police or security, non-police or security staff responsible for monitoring university property. Some examples include an individual who is responsible for monitoring entrance into campus property, special events, security staff, or security escorts. Any individual or organization designated to review or receive reports of criminal offenses from students and employees, and an official who has significant responsibility for student and campus activities, including, but not limited to, community life staff, the vice president of student development, student organization advisors, the director of athletics, and coaching staff. Please note that individuals acting in pastoral or professional counselor capacities, while they may have significant responsibilities for student and campus activities, are exempt from reporting requirements. Counselors must be licensed to be exempt from CSA responsibility. The intent in having non-public safety personnel in the role of CSA is to acknowledge that some individuals may be hesitant about reporting crimes to the public safety officers or police. However, they be more inclined to report an incident to other campus-affiliated individuals. Now that you understand what the Clery Act is and who is considered a CSA, let's discuss the important role CSAs play in helping universities remain compliant with the Clery Act. As a CSA, it is your responsibility to ensure the safety of yourself and others. Dial 911 in an emergency or if anyone is in imminent danger. Provide resources to individual reporting the crime for help and support, even if the individual doesn't want an investigation conducted. This includes advising them of the option to self-report directly to police or evangel public safety. Inform the individual you must report the incident as a confidential statistic, even if the individual does not want to report the incident for investigation. This means that you will not identify anyone involved unless the individual consents to being identified, and report allegations made in good faith of the Clery Act crimes to public safety as soon as possible. Good faith means there is a reasonable basis for believing that the information is not simply rumor or hearsay. The timeliness of reporting is critical in Evangel fulfilling its obligations under the law and maintaining a safe campus. If an individual indicates that they've already contacted public safety and you are 100% confident that this is the case, you do not need to document and report the allegations. Otherwise, when in doubt, document and report the crime. We'll go further details about this and how to report Clery crimes in the coming slides. First, let's review what you should not do in your role as a CSA. As a CSA, you should not take it upon yourself to apprehend the alleged perpetrator of a crime. In addition, you should not insist the victim contact law enforcement to file a report or press charges. The decision to act on this option is the victim's. Lastly, you should not try to make an authoritative determination as to whether or not a crime took place. The Public Safety Department will figure out what offense, if any, has occurred. Let's address the types of crimes covered under the Clery Act that you should report. There are many types of crimes that may occur on campus. As a CSA, you are responsible for reporting crimes that are reportable under the Clery Act. It's important to emphasize that the crimes are listed here to provide a general understanding of the types of crimes you should report, not to make you an expert in classifying crimes. When in doubt as to whether or not a crime is considered a Clery crime, report it. It's the Public Safety Department's responsibility to ensure proper classification of the crime and determine what further action to take in terms of reporting. Detailed definitions of these crimes may be found on the Clery Crime Statistics Report form available on the Public Safety website. There are 4 general categories of crime. The first category is criminal offenses, which includes criminal homicide, including murder or non-negligent manslaughter, as well as negligent manslaughter. The next criminal offense is sexual assault. Sexual assaults include forcible offenses such as rape and non-forcible offenses such as statutory rape. There are special considerations to take when someone reports sexual assault to you, including not completing the form in the presence of the assault survivor. This list continues with robbery, aggravated assault, burglary, motor vehicle theft, and arson. Let's distinguish between robbery and burglary. Robbery is taking something of value from a person by force or threat of force, whereas burglary is the unlawful or unauthorized entry of a structure to commit a felony or theft. A structure can be burglarized, but it cannot be robbed. It is possible, however, for an attempted burglary to become a robbery should an individual come home unexpectedly during an attempted burglary and the burglar then threatens or physically attacks the individual. Furthermore, if a perpetrator steals an item from an area of open access, such as a library, i.e., there is no unlawful or unauthorized entry, the incident is classified as stealing, not a burglary, and would not be considered a Clery crime. For example, if a student leaves his backpack under the table in a campus dining hall and another student takes it, it's stealing. However, if the student leaves his backpack under the table in a campus dining hall and another student breaks into the building after hours, steals the backpack, that's considered a burglary. The second category of Clery crimes is hate crimes. Hate crimes are criminal offenses committed against a person or property which is motivated by the offender's bias or formed negative opinion or attitude toward a group of persons based on their actual or perceived race, gender, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, ethnicity, or disability. These crimes include larceny, theft, simple assault, intimidation, vandalism, and all the criminal offenses described in the previous slide. Larceny theft is only reportable if it can be classified as a hate crime. In the previous slide, aggravated assaults were identified as a criminal offense. Aggravated assaults is an unlawful attack by one person upon another for the purpose of inflicting severe bodily injury, usually accompanied by the use of a weapon. While within the category of hate crimes, we differentiate simple assault as an unlawful attack by one person upon another where the offender does not display a weapon and the victim does not suffer severe bodily injury. Simple assault is only reportable if it can be classified as a hate crime. For example, Jane, a white student, begins shouting racial epithets while pointing at a black class member during a discussion on race relations. The professor calls campus public safety for assistance. When a black officer arrives to help, Jane starts shoving the officer, shouting racial epithets at him. This would be considered a simple assault, characterized by racial bias. It's a simple assault because the officer was not severely harmed and the student did not display a weapon. The third classification of Clery crimes is arrest and referrals for disciplinary action or violations. Violations tend to deal with possession, use, sale, or manufacturing of liquor, drugs, or weapons. When reporting violations, the report must reflect the total number of persons involved, not incidents. For example, if 3 students are referred to the Office of Student Development for disciplinary action for possessing marijuana in a residence hall, a CSA would count this scenario as a 3-drug law violation. It's important to note that reportable acts must be violations of the law, not campus policy. For example, a 21-year-old student is disciplined on campus for possession of alcohol in an Evangel University residence hall. The university would not count this for Clery as it's only a violation of policy, not law. The student is of legal drinking age. However, if an 18-year-old student is found to be intoxicated on campus, this incident would count as a Clery crime because it is a violation of law in regards to the possession and the use of alcohol. The final category of Clery crimes consists of domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking incidents. As a final note regarding crimes, you should report the Clery Act does not differentiate between attempted crimes and completed crimes. As a CSA, you should report attempted crimes the same as completed crimes, with one exception. Attempted murder would be considered aggravated assault. As a CSA, you must report crimes that occur in or on campus buildings and grounds, such as in residence halls or administrative buildings. In addition, you must report crimes that occur on public property adjacent to and accessible from campus, such as sidewalks, streets, and parking near campuses. Lastly, as a CSA, you must report crimes that occur on non-campus property owned or controlled by the university or frequently used by students. For example, leased property where evening classes take place, or a fraternity or sorority house. The geography of the crime can be difficult to distinguish, particularly in the case of non-campus property or public property. Again, the overarching theme would be, when in doubt, report the crime. It is your responsibility to report the facts of the alleged crime to be designated office or official in order to collect crime report information and maintain a safe campus. Report Clery crimes to public safety using the crime report form. Crime report forms for each campus location may be found on the Department of Public Safety website. It is important to provide as much information about an incident as possible to aid law enforcement and to categorize the crime. However, you should try to collect the information from the individual without prying or judging. Listen to the individual. Provide them additional resources for help and support. Consider the following questions. What type of crime? Include a detailed description of the crime. As a reminder, the crime report forms and the university's Clery Act website provide detailed definitions of each type of crime. Where did it occur? When did it occur? Include the date and time of the incident. When was it reported to you? Include the date and time. Who was the victim? If the individual wishes to be identified. Were there any witnesses? If the individual wishes to identify. Are there any suspects? If the individual wishes to identify. We've covered a large amount of information. Let's review some of the key points. Your actions as a CSA play a critical role in the university's fulfilling its obligation under the law and maintaining a safe campus. Your main responsibility as a CSA is to report Clery crimes to the campus public safety as soon as possible, regardless of whether the victim chooses to file a report for investigation to public safety or police. As a reminder, this includes attempted crimes. When in doubt, report the crime to campus public safety. Provide the facts and be as detailed as possible in your report. Listen to the individual reporting the crime and provide resources to the individual for additional help and support, including the option for the individual to self-report. Post-course quiz. Link to the post-course quiz.